Hello, everybody, and welcome back. I'm so excited about this platform sharing really good news every afternoon. And today we are super excited to have J. Michael Prince with US Polo. I'm so excited to have you here and on board. And it's your opportunity to share with our audience something good. So take it away, my friend.
Steve, first of all, thank you for having me. It's an honor and privilege. Love what you're doing out there, and I love the entrepreneurial spirit that you're sharing with your followers around the world. So, what's making me excited right now is just the human spirit. And I look at how my team here in West Palm Beach and around the world, we're in 180 countries around the world, by the way, is muscling through these challenging and unprecedented times. And when I see how hard they're working and how hard they're trying to make a difference, it just motivates me to get out of bed and also make a difference. And, as a brand, we always say the brand never sleeps. And as a $2 billion sport-inspired classic Americana brand, we want to lead. And so that's what we're doing and trying to make a difference in the world, whether it's inspiring social media posts to handing out millions of face coverings around the world to help employees and citizens and customers as well. So thank you for having us, and thank you to your listeners for listening.
Thank you so much. I mean, that's awesome. I think, first of all, I followed you, and you right from the get-go jumped out in front of this, which is what, certainly a part of great leadership. But you probably more than anybody we can talk to have a much more global perspective. Retail, has taken its fair share of hits over the period of time, but this is unprecedented. And then to deal with it on a global scale, I'm curious what you're hearing. What does reopening look like? All that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's interesting. So I was a young CFO in 2008 and 9 when the financial crisis hit and the global recession. And I was with Nike at the time. I was their CFO for Converse, which was it was their most profitable subsidiary at the time. And so I learned a lot through that process. And I felt like, when this started happening, we actually did get in front of it earlier than a lot of companies and brands. We started working remotely faster, started communicating with our partners on things to do, shutting down stores. What's interesting, 2019 for our $2 billion brand was a record year on all fronts, on top of a record year in 2018. And the first 2 months of 2020, January and February, were also record numbers. We had one challenge. It was China was shut down because of the coronavirus for the past few months. So we were keeping an eye on that, keep an eye on the global supply chain. And then if you fast forward 6 to 8 weeks later, out of our 1,200 global retail stores, 90% of them are closed around the world right now. If you look at our corporate headquarters all over the world, they're all closed down. Everyone's working remotely right now. And so we went from having another record year to now resetting the business. But, we look at it as it's about the long term. It's a marathon, not a sprint. We have to protect our employees. We have to protect our consumers. We believe great leaders and great brands will prevail, which we believe we are. And so you'll start seeing us come out of this. And the timing's good. I just sent a note out to all our global partners that we're going to start thoughtfully opening up our office with just a few people late next week, test and learn, and roll that out over time. No rush, tons of flexibility, always being respectful of employees and the consumers, and also looking at opening up certain retail stores around the world as well, but doing it in a very calculated manner, getting facts and learning from those facts and pivoting where necessary.
I love hearing that. For the sake of sharing with my audience, where does your brand fit in the sort of the population? I think it's something that obviously is iconic, obviously makes people feel good, but from your perspective, where does it sit?
Well, this brand, I absolutely love this brand. It's one of the most democratic global brands in the world. And what I like about it is the headquarters are in West Palm Beach, Florida. We're the official brand for the United States Polo Association, which is also based in South Florida. So we're a sport-inspired brand on all fronts. I always say we live our lives the same on and off the field. We have a $2 billion footprint. We're in 180 countries around the world. We have 1,200 of our own retail stores that we run ourselves. And what's also unique about this brand is that we're the fourth largest global sports licensor in the world. And you may say, well, what does that mean? When you take a look at global retail sales, the only three sports franchises that are bigger than US Polo is Major League Baseball, the National Football League, and the NBA. We're larger than WWE, Major League Soccer, the PGA Tour, all of that. What's also unique about our brand and our sport is that if you're a female player and you want to play the world's greatest male players in a championship game, you get that opportunity to either play on the same field with them, against them, or with them. Where a lot of sports, it's very bifurcated. And so we feel like we're unique in that part. So it's truly a dual gender brand and sport.
Love it. Love it. So when people from the outside look at a clothing brand, there's some clothing brands that have pivoted to get in the face mask world. Is that something you guys did? And if so, tell the story about how you did that, because pivoting a big organization like yours cannot be easy to do.
Very good question. We were very thoughtful about this. We are making face covers in several of our partner factories around the world right now. We're distributing those to employees, to consumers, and to citizens of different countries to be used for safety and social responsibility reasons. At some point, there may be an opportunity to get creative with this, and it becomes a new functional fashion accessory item, like a belt, like a wallet. But in the interim, like, we're focused on doing our little part in this epic battle against COVID-19 and protecting the citizens around the world the best that we can, making our small contribution. But you're going to see a lot of changes around fashion, function, the way people shop and interact based on this. So we're going to learn a lot over the next 3, 6, 9, 12 months.
I love that, because as a career entrepreneur, people have asked me, what's your thought? And I said, anybody that really gives you a concrete answer is really fooling themselves. I don't think anybody really knows. You want to forecast and keep thinking day by day, what's the right thing to do? And it sounds like you guys have sort of nailed that.
Yeah, we have. And one other thing that I'm looking at, that you think about the transition and evolution of how people shop, right? So you would think that in the first 30 days when the pandemic, you would have seen e-commerce sales increase as stores closed. What we actually saw was e-commerce sales decreased, because in month one, folks were very focused on purchasing food, toilet paper, water, necessities for their families, as they should have. Now what we've seen in month two is a 30 to 50% spike in e-commerce business, because folks are now getting more comfortable buying apparel, a baseball cap, a pair of sneakers. And for a brand like us, what I love about this brand is that we're a global sport-inspired brand at great price points. And I don't know if folks anytime soon are going to be back in business looking to buy $2,000 handbags and $100 men's slippers, but will they buy their kids a $15 baseball cap or themselves a $20 t-shirt? Probably. And so we feel like for the brand, we're well positioned for the future with price points focused on basic items and just comfort items, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think it totally does. I mean, one of the things that I'm glad you hit on is the working environment, working virtually. You still need to dress. I mean, you look great, casual, but great. My thing has always been blazers, but even that's getting to a point where, okay, what am I going to wear to dress down a little bit, sort of that casual Friday thing, but still look like I'm presentable to make meetings and do stuff like that. So I think your brand is probably uniquely poised to own a piece of that.
Absolutely. And you know what? I like your look as well. I like the t-shirt with the blazers and the pocket square. I'm a big fan of pocket squares, by the way. Yeah. And you know what I think the world's going to, like, it had been formal for a long period of time to more kind of business casual. But, I've had Zoom calls with executives from other businesses where I've had on my USPA baseball cap.
Wow.
And as we're working remotely from our homes, I can see more of that happening, like nicer pajama wear where you're in a nice pair of pants and your baseball cap and you're still getting work done, you're being productive. But I think we have to be flexible as this evolves and as we continue to live our lives and be productive.
I love that word, flexible. I mean, everybody says, "Oh my God, Steve, you've been so successful." And I said, if you really saw the roadmap, it might make you a little nauseous.
You've been a busy guy.
So I want our audience to know about you personally. What drives you? How do you? Because there's a lot of people looking at you, and I use the term. You're feeding them. How do you get fed?
Yeah, for me, I grew up from a simple background. I grew up in Oklahoma, very southeastern part, very poor part of the state, and you never realize how poor you are until you're around a few people with money. And so I've always, been motivated to work hard, and I think that comes from my roots and my family, and that's all we ever knew. And I take great pride in that work, and I take great pride in things that I'm associated with. And so when I look at this brand, the fact that it's connected to sport, which sport has been so inspirational for me ever since I was little and continues to be and will be until the day I die. To be able to represent a brand that's accessible for most people around the world is important to me as well. And to be able to make that difference, whether it's through sport, whether it's through product, and put this brand in a light where people can access it, they can engage with it. And, when you purchase apparel, there's an emotional tie to that purchase. There's a reason you bought that brand. Either it's because you like the brand, you like what it stands for and all of that. And so, I think just trying to do good by our global team, by our consumers is what I do. Another thing that it's become more important to me as I've gotten older is the focus on the environment. And I think about what we're going through as humans right now and the impact that negative impact we've had on planet Earth. Earth Day was not too long ago. And, one of our missions now is social responsibility has always been important, but how do we make it more of a priority? Sustainability, giving back, protecting Mother Earth. And so you're going to see the brand come out with some brand new initiatives around sustainability and what we're doing to make our impact, because as a brand our size, we can have a real impact on the world, as well as the next generation of millennials, Gen Z, and Gen Alpha.
I think that's awesome. I should have known that you were from Oklahoma. First of all, I've never met anybody from Oklahoma that I did not instantly like or fall in love with, because my wife is from Lawton, Oklahoma.
Oh, nice. I know it well.
Yeah, I figured. So, and I'm fortunate. Sports career, I know the Stoops family and, just Oklahoma in general. Once you know somebody from there, 6 degrees of Oklahoma is a good game to play.
That's right. Yeah, it's more like 2 degrees, but I'll take 6.
It's really, really cool. So in closing, because I know you're busy and I'm thrilled that you carved out the time for us, what would you want to leave our audience as something good that they can look forward to?
Stay positive, stay strong. This is tough for all of us, and we're all going through this together, and that's truly a real statement, meaning that we have families. My family's been impacted. I've lost an aunt from COVID-19, and everyone's been impacted, whether it's financially, someone's been sick, your life's been disrupted, but we truly are in this together. We have a great human spirit. We'll get through this. We're going to learn from it. We're going to be better for it in the long run. And just, staying there together, try to stay positive, try to stay respectful of others, use common sense, and let's continue to look out for each other. And as we come through this, Steve, let's be as smart coming out of it as we have been going through it, as far as being respectful of others and social distancing and all that. It's the new normal, but if we all do our part, we'll continue to do a good job.
I think you're incredibly well-spoken. One of the things I can guarantee in the work that I do with other CEOs, it's becoming really relevant that people know the face of the business. That's a big impact. And following you on social media, seeing what you do, showing up for opportunities like this to share your wisdom and your leadership only impact the brand, the people involved in it, the people that buy it in a really positive way. And I hope that when things get back to where we can sit down and actually break bread, I would love to do that. You seem like a really cool guy, and I'm thrilled you showed up. Thank you.
I love that. And I just want to say the same to you. I think about new ideas and entrepreneurship that's being created, and you launching this amazing platform. And I took a list of some of the people you've had on who I can be interesting, but they're a lot more interesting than I am. So just thanks for including me in this great opportunity. But, you know, it just shows you what people can do when their backs are against the wall and they think creatively. And you're a great example for so many entrepreneurs around the world, not just in the US, to take an idea and not only run with it, but be very successful with it. So thank you for carrying the battle horn and carrying the cause.
Awesome, man. Thank you. Stay on the ball.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.